Hey, what's up? My name is Dom. Welcome to my channel. Today we're talking about discipline. Some of the things we're going to go over today is going to hopefully blow your mind. As of recent, I've actually had a few epiphanies about what discipline really is. First, I'd like to cut right to the meat is what discipline actually is all about, which is discipline is equally about not doing as it is about doing. And I know for a lot of us, doing a thing, especially me, doing things that are hard isn't the hard part for me. And I know a lot of people, like, that's just what they think of it as. Like, we know about some of those like crazy motivational people that are, oh, but just do the hard thing, do the hard thing. But it's actually more about self-respect and not doing the things that are not good for you, that are not indicative of self-growth. In my opinion, if you aren't good at not doing bad things and you're addicted to these terrible habits and you can't not do, this will hold you back in your ability to do the things that are actually good for you. So that is something that's blown my mind recently. It seems like something we should all know about pretty well. But realizing that most of us live a pretty degenerate lifestyle and striving to get out of that is what I'm all about. So now that that's out of the way, mindfulness techniques, this is important to basically stay on top of like not doing the bad things, the habits, the bad habits. So mindfulness is absolutely number one important. First, attention to the breath. Let's say you're in the midst of about to, acting on a bad habit or about to do something you don't really want to do. Like, let's say you have porn addiction or you're eating fast food. Pay attention to what it is in your body. That's the next thing. Feel into what and where you feel. So is it really your stomach that's hungry? Chances are, if you're, going to get fast food, you're really not hungry, and it's just psychological. You might feel it in your chest, weird enough, that craving, that hankering. And, this is a perfect opportunity to exercise and practice your discipline instead. Choose to just drive straight home. Think about a healthy alternative. Like, chances are you're really craving carbs, and you really want like that soda or French fries. Just go home and like make yourself potato wedges, season that up, like make it good, focus on cooking. Then you get to practice two skills, which is, practice adhering to your diet. It's one. And then your cooking skills, like maybe you don't cook at all. Maybe it's something you need to get into. Maybe that's something you're intimidated about, potentially another barrier and reason why fast food is so convenient for you, hence the fast food. But that is a terrible habit. You're just gonna have to get over that if you want to develop discipline. Again, we're focusing right now on not doing the bad things so we can do the good things, do the hard things. Because if the hardest thing for you is to not eat like, garbage, then practice just not going out of your way to go get it. That's step one. This should seem obvious, but unfortunately it's not. And I've been here too. Moving on, adherence to the techniques, or adherence techniques. If you do slip up, okay, number one thing is don't feel down about it. Don't feel down about slipping up. We're all gonna do it. I'm sure you're hearing more recently in some of these self-help circles and other channels talking about how if you relapse or you slip up, you basically set yourself up for failure the moment you decide to go on a streak. Like, oh, it's been a whole month. So as soon as you realize, like, let's say it's been a month, you haven't had fast food. There's a very famous saying, talking about the pride before the fall. There's always pride before the fall. This is even biblical. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure. But as soon as you realize, like, oh, I've been doing really good, then you feel like you deserve it. You feel like you deserve to go and do the bad habit, whether it's eating out, not keeping your house clean, you know, just letting a dish in the sink for too long and just, you know, like, well, I'm good for it. But chances are, because you did those things that are basically of the bad habit, you're right back where you started. But not necessarily. Look at how far you've come and how long you can go without doing the bad thing, and remind yourself of what, you know, you've been doing. You know, the pride that gets in the way when you're, let's say you haven't watched pornography in, you know, 90 days. That's like the gold number. Some people can't make a week. But be proud of the week. Be proud of that 7 days. And if you do slip up, like, okay, well, right back on 7 days. Like, you know, last thing you want to do is, you know, get right back into like, oh, now I'm zeroed out. If you feel bad about it, chances are you're gonna be like, okay, well, while I'm in my degenerate state and of being like on day one again, may as well just do day one tomorrow and just go at it for a whole nother, you know, it turns into days of just never starting that next streak. So focus more on just being about the discipline. Okay, it really comes back to that. If you're able to be mindful, then you shouldn't slip up, especially if you can adhere. Next thing in adherence is reminders of the process. So the process is pretty much exactly what I explained. Just not making the excuses, never feeling too high on your success, because that equals the pride before the fall. So reminding yourself where you are, who you are. If you are, you know, a severe drug addict, remind yourself that if you've been off drugs for a while, it's probably not okay for you to go and do like a little bit of drugs. Definitely number one way to slip back into that and have that relapse, no matter what it is, and that applies to fast food and even, you know, anything, phone addiction, you name it. These are all things that sap your dopamine and take up, you know, massive brain power in your life. Last thing, track and measure your progress. If you can't track it and you can't measure it, you don't know where the hell you are. So, you know, in the beginning stages, maybe going and counting your streaks is not that bad of an idea. And track and see how long you can go. So now it's a matter of, instead of taking, you know, a big look and like, I'm not going to do this for a whole year. That could be a good idea for some people. But if you're really, really dopamine dependent and you get unmindful and you let your brain trick you into doing these things because of the pride that you experience, tracking and looking at where you've been and how many times you get to that same rut over and over. It's really important for having a good bearings on what you're doing. So yeah, that's pretty much the video on discipline. Hope I've, you know, been comprehensive enough with what we're talking about. And I hope to hear back from you with any questions. Hoping to make another video on something similar to this. So if you like this kind of stuff, stick around, keep an eye on my channel, and subscribe. Thank you.